This is Lori, teen librarian from the Glenwood branch. Welcome to this edition of 10 in 10, where in about 10 minutes, I'll feature a mix of 10 books geared for middle schoolers in grades 6 through 8. The first book is Dark Waters by Katherine Arden. This book is part of a quartet of spooky and supernatural tales that will delight those who enjoy chilling and creepy adventures. Book 1 is Small Spaces and Book 2 is Dead Voices. Dark Waters is Book 3. Until next time. That was the chilling promise made to Ollie, Coco, and Brian after they outsmarted the Smiling Man at Mount Hemlock Resort. And as the trio knows, the Smiling Man always keeps his promises. So when the lights flicker on and off at Brian's family's inn, and a boom sounds at the door, there's just one visitor it could be. Only there's no one there. Just a cryptic note left outside, signed simply S. The Smiling Man loves his games, and it seems a new one is afoot. But first, the three friends will have to survive a group trip to Lake Champlain, where it's said Vermont's very own Loch Ness Monster lives. When they're left shipwrecked on an island haunted by a monster on both land and sea, Brian's survival instincts kick in, and it's up to him to help everyone work together and find a way to escape. Our second book is Paradise on Fire by Jewel Parker Rhodes, one of my favorite authors, and it's a tale of grief and survival in the face of devastating wildfires. Addie is haunted by the tragic fire that killed her parents, leaving her to be raised by her grandmother. Now, years later, Addie's grandmother has enrolled her in a summer wilderness program. There, Addie joins five other Black City kids, each with their own troubles, to spend a summer out west. But then comes a devastating forest fire. Addie is face to face with her destiny and haunting past. Developing her courage and resiliency against the raging fire, it's up to Addie to lead her friends to safety. Not all are saved, but remembering her origins and grandmother's teachings, she's able to use street smarts, wilderness skills, and her spiritual intuition to survive. Our third book is Of Salt and Shore by Annette. This is an epic adventure book you are sure to enjoy. Every evening, Lampy, the lighthouse keeper's daughter, must light a lantern to warn ships away from the rocks. But one stormy night, disaster strikes. The lantern is not lit, a ship is wrecked, and someone must pay. To work off her debt, Lampy is banished to the Admiral's lonely house, where a monster is rumored to live. The terrors inside the house aren't quite what she thought they would be. They are even stranger. After Lampy saves the life of the neglected, deformed son of the Admiral, a boy she calls Fish, they form a close bond. Soon they are pulled into a fairy tale adventure swimming with mermaids, pirates, and misfits. Lampy will discover the courage to fight for friendship, knowledge, and the freedom to be different. Book number 4 is One Kid's Trash by Jamie Sumner. Meet Hugo, the Wizard of Waste. Hugo is not happy about being dragged halfway across the state of Colorado just because his dad had a midlife crisis and decided to become a ski instructor. It'd be different if Hugo weren't so tiny, if girls didn't think he was adorable like a puppy in a purse, and guys didn't call him Leprechaun and rub his head for luck. But here he is, the tiny new kid on his first day of middle school. When his fellow students discover his remarkable talent for garbology, the science of studying trash to tell you anything you could ever want to know about a person, Hugo becomes the cool kid for the first time in his life. Read One Kid's Trash by Jamie Sumner to find out what happens when it all goes to his head. Book 5 is Red Stars, The Case of Victor and Nadia's Notebooks by David Morrison Otto. Twins Victor and Nadia are 12 years old when Hitler's Germany declares war on the Soviet Union. With little notice, the city's children are evacuated on trains that are meant to take them to safety. Shockingly and sadly, Victor and Nadia are separated, and disaster befalls them both. As the terrible conflict rages, each embarks on a desperate race across snow and ice, struggling through the destruction in an effort to be reunited. Their chances are slim, but they never lose hope. Read Red Stars by David Morrison Otto for a heart-stopping story of danger, courage, and bravery, and that emphasizes the power of truth and what it means to be a hero. Book number 6 is Seafire by Natalie Parker. This is the first book in a trilogy. After her family is killed by corrupt warlord Eric Athair and his bloodthirsty army of bullets, Caldonia Styx is left to chart her own course on the dangerous and deadly seas. She captains her ship, the Mors Navis, with a crew of girls and women just like her, whose lives have been turned upside down by Eric and his men. The crew has one mission: stay alive, and take down Eric's armed and armored fleet. But when Caldonia's best friend and second in command just barely survives an attack, thanks to the help from a bullet looking to defect, Caldonia finds herself questioning whether or not to let him join their crew. Is this bullet boy the key to taking down Eric Athair once and for all, or will he threaten everything the women of Mors Navis have worked for? Book number 7 is The Impossible Climb, Alex Honnold, El Capitan, and A Climber's Life by Mark Sinat. On June 3, 2017, as seen in the Oscar-winning documentary Free Solo, Alex Honnold achieved what most had written off as unattainable: a 3,000-foot vertical climb of El Capitan in Yosemite National Park without a rope or harness. The Impossible Climb tells the gripping story of how a quiet kid from Sacramento, California, grew up to capture the attention of the entire globe by redefining the limits of human potential through hard work, discipline, and a deep respect for the natural world. Book number 8 is Malamander by Thomas Taylor. It's winter in the town of Erie-on-Sea, where the mist is thick and the salt spray is rattling the windows of the Grand Nautilus Hotel. Inside, young Herbert Lemon, lost and founder for the hotel, has an unexpected visitor. It seems that Violet Parma, a fearless girl around his age, lost her parents at the hotel when she was a baby, and she's sure that the nervous Herbert is the only person who can help her find them. Read The Malamander by Thomas Taylor for a light-hearted, quirky mystery tale featuring a colorful cast of characters in hot pursuit of a sea monster thought to convey a surprising gift. Book number 9 is Anna on the Edge by A.J. Sass. 12-year-old Anna Marie Jin, the reigning U.S. juvenile figure skating champion, is not a frilly dress kind of kid. So when Anna learns that next season's program will be princess-themed, doubt forms fast. Still, Anna tries to focus on training and putting together a stellar routine worthy of national success. Once Anna meets Hayden, a transgender boy new to the rink, thoughts about the princess program and gender identity begin to take center stage. As their friendship develops, Anna realizes that it's tricky juggling two different identities on one slippery sheet of ice. Book number 10 is The Phantom Twin by Lisa Brown. This is a graphic novel about Isabel and her life following Jane's lead, literally. Of the two conjoined twins, Jane was always the stronger one, both physically and emotionally. But when Jane dies on the operating table during a risky attempt to separate the twins, Isabel is left alone. Or is she? Soon Jane returns, attached to Isabel from shoulder to hip, just like she used to be. Except Isabel is the only person who can see Jane, a ghost, a phantom limb, a phantom twin. Read The Phantom Twin by Lisa Brown for an unforgettable graphic story of tragedy, courage, and first love. I hope you enjoyed the variety of books I've covered. You can check them all out at your local branch or online at hclibrary.org. Happy reading!